All right, so you've got your chemicals, you're back at the house, we're ready to get your pool started up, okay? Now the first thing we're going to do is, of course, you're going to have power out to your pump. If you already have your electricity hooked up, good. Don't plug your pump in yet. I'm going to show you what to do. If you're going to run an extension cord, that's fine, but it has to be at least a 12 gauge cord. Now, these pumps are 110. You just plug them in like you do a TV set, but they pull a lot of amperage. And if you don't have a heavy enough cord, the pump's going to try to pull more amperage than the cord will allow. And eventually, in 2 or 3 weeks, you'll end up burning your pump up. Okay, so make sure it's a heavy duty extension cord, at least 12 gauge. We're going to need power out there. You've got your chemicals. We're about to head out. We're about to show you how to get this thing started up, and you're going to be swimming here in just a few minutes. Okay? All right, let's head to the backyard. All right, here we've got your filter system. You've got it set up. We've got our chlorinator hooked up here if you got a chlorinator with your kit. The first thing we're going to do is, this is your skimmer. You have a basket inside that skimmer. On a week-to-week basis, you're going to go in there, you're going to pull your basket out, you're going to clean the trash out of it. Okay, it's only take you a second, but this is something you're going to do on a once-a-week basis, and we want to go ahead and do this in case you got any trash in there before we get this going. Now, this little flap here, what this is designed is when the pump cuts on, it falls down like that and allows trash to come in. When the pump's cut off, it floats back up and keeps all this stuff from your skimmer basket floating back into the pool. Okay, that's what that's for. So then you just put your skimmer basket back in, you put your lid back on, and we're good to go. Now your next thing is, on a week-to-week basis, in the front of your pump you have what's called the strainer pot. That is got a basket inside of it because when the water gets to your pump, it's still dirty. So basically, you're going to take that lid off, just unscrew that lid off from the top. You see the basket inside. You're going to pull the basket out and dump it out. Okay, that's it. Now in your pump, we got our extension cord out here. We're going to plug our pump in to get this whole thing going. Okay. Now right now we're going to wait a second to do that because there's something else I want you to do when we start this up. And that has to do here with your sand filter. All right, now the first thing is I want to go ahead and show you this chlorinator before we get into the filter. On this chlorinator, what you have is you have a little tab, which is going to be right here. You're going to push in, and then you unscrew the lid up top. Okay, that's basically just a safety thing for the kids not to mess with it and that type of thing. And what you're going to do is take your 3-inch tablets and just fill that thing up. And then here is going to be your dial on how much chlorine you want to put in it. I leave it on about 5 or 6, and you can pretty much leave it there all year long. And what you want to do is every couple weeks or so, take that lid off and check to see how many tablets you have in there and just keep that thing full. Now, we're going to go to your filter. The first thing is we got our backwash hose here connected to the filter, and we've run it out in the yard. This is going to take the water from backwashing and take it where we want it and not make it a muddy mess over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this handle down. We have it on filter right now. We're going to move it 180 degrees to this setting, which is backwash. This is what cleans your filter. So push your handle down and turn it 180 degrees. At this point, we can plug our pump in. All right, the pump cuts on. You see we got water coming here out the backwash, and bam, there it is coming out the hose. Okay? Now what you want to do is, on a week-to-week basis, you want to backwash it once a week. What this sight jar is for is you want to run it until the water's clear. You know, your filter's going to be dirty, and it's going to come out real brown, real black, nasty water. You run it until it's clear. Okay? Once it's clear, you're done backwashing. So what we're going to do is push this handle down and move it around. Now, every time you push the handle down, you need to turn your pump off, or you run the risk of the pressure breaking the internal pump. All right, so now that's your rinse setting. Once you're done backwashing, you got a lot of trash stuck up in this head, and you want to clean the last bit of trash out. So you push it down and you put it on rinse. Okay, now we're going to plug our pump back in. All right, and you see it's backwashing again, but it's really rinsing that head out and getting all that little trash that was caught up in the head, so it doesn't blow a little puff of nastiness back in the pool. All right, we're done. You only want to run that for, let's say, about 15 seconds or so. Now we push it down, we put it back to filter, and we're ready to go. Now we're going to plug our pump in, and we're going to get ready here in just a second to start putting some chemicals in. Now you can see we got our water coming out of our return right here. Okay, now water's coming back into the pool and it's being circulated back into the pool. And now we're ready for our chemicals. Now what I recommend you do is with the sand filter, put all your chemicals through your skimmer. What's going to happen is the water is going to move through your filter, take the chemicals, put it in your sand just like it's trash. But as the water runs through there, it's going to eat away the chemicals and disperse it in the pool. It's the easiest way to do it. But what I want you to do is pour it in very slowly. You don't want to dump it in too quick. You can end up clogging up your hoses and even clogging up your filter. Okay, so I want you to pour it in there very slow. Now, most chemicals dissolve very quickly. So it's not going to be in your filter for that long. But some chemicals go very slow. Now, you might have learned from the pool store that they're telling you to dissolve these chemicals and run them, and once you dissolve them in a bucket, pour it in the pool. With a sand filter, you don't have to do that. That's why I love a sand filter. It makes everything really easy for you. All you got to do is dump those chemicals through your skimmer very slowly. Okay? All right, we're done getting our first chemical in there. Now we're going to put our second chemical in there. And this is the calcium hardness. And I just wanted to show you this. The calcium hardness is going to take a little longer to dissolve. It's more like a bit of a flake than it is a fine powder. Okay? So anytime you're putting in a flaky substance like this, you want to dump it in very, very slowly. Okay? You're just going to have to sit out there and take your time. We don't want to clog up the pump. We don't want to clog up the filter. Now, once we're done putting in the calcium, we're going to put in your stabilizer. Okay, again, stabilizer dissolves very, very slowly, so you want to pour it in very slowly. This is the chemical that, if anything is going to clog up your system, it's this. So pour it in very, very slowly. This is what I love about a sand filter. You can just put these chemicals in. Pre-dissolving these chemicals is a pain. All right, now we're done with our stabilizer. This is our chlorine shock. We're going to get it shocked, get our chlorine level up, and we're going to be done. And tomorrow, when you want to let this run for 24 hours, and tomorrow when you wake up, you can go swimming.